going on, everybody? Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. It's been a crazy few weeks. Still having to deal with the Pete, as you can see. I'm not in my usual truck, so it's been a rough few weeks, to say the least, guys. Not that I'm complaining about it. It is what it is. As I've said before in previous videos, I made a decision that turned out to be a bad decision, and having to deal with the consequences of it. It is what it is. We'll kind of go from there. But I'm here at the shipper. Actually, just got a green light, so let me go inside, get my paperwork, and then I'll give you guys an update of what's going on and kind of what to expect in the future here. Alright guys, well, I just got my paperwork and send off my emails that I need to send to the broker, and I'll get out of here. Alright guys, well, the Pete's back in the shop. Not to the same place that did the overhaul, obviously. So what's going on with it is, when I first got it, obviously I was told, hey, truck's ready, everything's good, we take it for a test drive, and everything checked out. So when I went to pick it up, checked in with them, took care of the rest of the bill, mind you. So a complete overhaul with a couple other things that I did to it was $45,000, which is a lot of money. But I mean, that it is what it is. And then I went, obviously after I took care of the bill, what I should have done was go on a test drive myself and then took care of the bill. But lesson learned. I'll get in the truck, and as soon as I leave out of there, I mean, there is a huge boost leak that if somebody truly went for a test drive, they would have noticed, or they're just the worst freaking driver or mechanic that's ever lived. Also, the Jake brake wasn't working and the cruise control wasn't working. So for any of you guys that don't know, when you overhaul an engine, you can't just start it and just let it idle there for a long time. Obviously, you'd have to start it, make sure there's no leaks, and make sure everything's good. But then you'd have to go for a pretty good test drive, preferably with the load, and literally beat the snot out of the engine and get it up to operating temperature as soon as you can. Simply because you want to set the rings. During the overhaul, the engine actually got thermostats, and the thermostats that were put in is supposed to be a new version of the thermostat, or an updated thermostat, which if you do your research and if you look at the technical bulletins under the Cummins, you're not supposed to use, because for whatever reason it bypasses the thermostats, and when it bypasses the thermostat, the engine never gets up to operating temp. The engine wasn't heating up more than 110 degrees, and mind you, these engines are supposed to work at 175 plus. So I don't know how they got the engine hot enough to set the rings and really go, for a long test drive and not notice all that. Regardless, I had to actually start digging on it on my own and try to figure out what was going on. And that's when I figured out the thermostat issue. So I took it back to them. They took the thermostat out. They put a new thermostat in. What I also noticed was there was quite a bit of condensation coming from the blow-by tube and a lot of blow-by. I mean, just a lot of blow-by. For a freshly overhauled engine, I don't know. It just seemed like a lot. Expressed my concerns, and I was told it's perfectly fine. And also what I said was, I mean, there's like gray, greasy matter coming from the blow-by tube. Well, the issue with that is it's not supposed to be there. I don't think I've ever had a truck that does that, so I don't know what the heck is going on. It's not, mixing antifreeze with oil or anything like that, but it's losing quite a bit of antifreeze, guys. I went to Chicago and back in one trip. I used 2.5 gallons, and I figured, well, hell, maybe it did actually have a pretty big air pocket, and it'll be fine. The next trip, another 2.5 gallons. The trip after that, another 2.5 gallons. And the trip after that, another 2.5 gallons. So I was going through 2.5 gallons of antifreeze for a 560-mile round trip. Which, I don't know, that's not normal. The other issue that I had was I asked for the warranty on paper for the truck when I went to pick it up the second or third time that they were checking it, and I was told, yeah, they'll give it to me, whatever the case is. Waited for the warranty paperwork, never arrived. I was a bit of an issue with that because, realistically, no paper, no proof, right? The engine did get, or the block and the head did get sent out and got hot tanked and checked, so there was no cracks found on the engine or on the block or on the head. They were trued, and everything else is new on them, right? So I don't know what exactly is going on. There's no external leaks, but something is definitely going on. I just gotta find somebody that knows what the hell they're doing to find it, or I'm gonna have to take it apart myself because I just don't have the money to pay anybody else to do it. I'm out 45 grand, and that was pretty much everything I had. In the meantime, here I am left with no work, so the bills ain't getting paid. The truck is sitting, and I was forced to get another truck, and this is the truck that I'm currently riding in. And I didn't have the resources to buy the truck myself, so I actually had a really good buddy of mine, and I'm not going to mention any names or anything. I'm sure he doesn't want to be mentioned, that actually bought the truck for me essentially, and I'm just going to pay him when I have the money. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have to sell the Peterbilt to pay for this after it's all said and done. But I don't want to sell it unless I know for a fact that everything is 100%. And then we'll kind of go from there. So in the meantime, I'll be driving this. Not a very exciting truck or anything, but it's a nice truck. It's an owner-operator spec. It's a 2017 T680 Kenworth. It's got a 13-speed manual, which I wanted and I love. I wish it was an 18-speed, but regardless. It's got a Packard MX-13 on it. Fairly good on fuel. got 622,000 miles. It's, I believe, a one-owner truck from the digging that I did, and it's definitely an owner operator because this thing's got a hardwood floor in already, and it's just a very, very well maintained truck and well taken care of. So I locked into that one, and obviously with the help of my buddy that actually had to put up the money for it. So, and I'm not saying this to, you know, ask for pity or anything. I'm just updating you guys. As I said earlier, you know, I made a decision. It turned out to be the wrong decision, and have to figure out a way out of it, which I will. It's just a matter of time. That is a very nice beat. And then we'll kind of go from there. But I'm fairly confident the Pete will sell it. I mean, it's a really nice truck. It's, you know, pretty much going to have everything new on it. So, you know, I guess my misfortune will be somebody else's gain. But I mean, that's the way life goes sometimes. Well, like I said, I don't want to do anything with it until I know absolutely sure that everything is good and well and copacetic with it. So this truck, so like I said, it's a 2017 with a Packard MX 13, 500 horse, 13-speed trans with a 336 rear end, which I like because it actually keeps the RPM fairly low at cruising speed. Yes, it's a new truck, it's a dev truck, it's not exciting, it doesn't make noise. You know, it doesn't have that exhaust sound. You know, not very exciting compared to, you know, the W9. So, you know, I had a Freightliner Classic that I put my heart and soul into it, sold it. You know, got the Kenworth, put my heart and soul on that, sold it. And then got the Pete. I was going to put my heart and soul on that to a degree because I wanted to use the money for something else, and you guys know already. But for you that don't know, I wanted to open a custom shop for semi-trucks out here in Michigan because there's really not any. And then, you know, plans went the way they went. But, so I went from custom trucks to a, you know, plain Kenworth T680 that, although technically I own because my name's on the paperwork, I don't own. And it's just the way it goes sometimes. Life knocks you down. The only thing you can do really is pick yourself up. You know, dust yourself off if you can. If not, you know, you're dirty as hell, but you got to keep on going. It's just the way it is. You know, giving up and failure is really no option. This truck though I absolutely love. Although it's not very exciting. And I'll, you know, next videos I'll go through and show you what the truck actually looks like. And you know, I do have plans for it, but, and it's a big but, I, you know, have to fix the Pete first, make sure that's good, sell the Pete so I can pay off, you know, the gentleman that gave me the money for this. And then I can think about doing stuff to this and customizing and that sort of thing, which I do want to do at some point, but obviously the priorities are not, it's not that, it's a lot of different stuff. So. But as far as the truck, it's very quiet, it's very smooth. I hate this big ass 18-inch steering wheel, but because it's got the steering controls here, I can't really do anything with it. I try to find a relocation kit for these. Nobody really makes anything. I'm probably going to go to a junkyard and get maybe a damaged steering wheel that has the controls. And and I'm gonna see if I can take the controls and maybe I can mount them in another steering wheel. You know, it'll have to be done by myself, and we'll see how that goes. As long as I can, you know, figure out a way that the clock spring stuff comes into the steering wheel for the connections for the steering wheel controls, which is pretty much stereo stuff, and then cruise control and stuff like that. You know, they're all pretty important, but obviously the cruise and stuff, you know, is more important than anything else. So I'm gonna, you know, tinker with that and see if I can make that happen myself. If not, you know, it is what it is. The good thing is, I mean, this truck is pretty much decked out with anything that you could possibly want in it, or you could have ordered in it. It's got the, I think it's called the VIT interior with, you know, all leather and shit. And even the steering wheel is like leather wrapped, and it's not the, you know, the cheapo foam that, you know, comes off in your hands after a while. Another thing that I you know, had on my idea was, well, PACCAR, you know, obviously also makes DAF trucks, or DAF, I don't know what the proper pronunciation is, I'm just going to call it a DAF, which is a European truck. For you guys that play European Truck Simulator, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For you guys that are in Europe, obviously you know what I'm talking about. But for you guys that don't know, it is made by PACCAR, and it, I believe it's a it's a Holland company, so from the Netherlands, I believe. I could be completely wrong. I'm just, you know, going from what I believe it's made. But that being a PACCAR car, I figured, well, hell, maybe it's got the same steering wheel. So I started digging into it, or the same, you know, control connections, and then the same hub, right, where it mounts into the steering column. And it looks like it does, but they're also an 18-inch, and I figured maybe I could find one in Europe, being, you know, customization in Europe is a little bit more popular than here, especially with newer trucks, and maybe somebody made a smaller one and they don't. So my only option really is, if I want to change it, is to see if I can make the steering wheel controls mount in the steering wheel myself. Or obviously the easiest option is I leave it the way it is, which, you know, I hope I don't have to, but if, you know, if I can't do anything with it, I mean, it is what it is. It's not like it makes the truck undrivable or anything. You know, just a preference thing, and maybe a little comfort thing. The only thing that this, or the other thing that this damn truck doesn't have, is armrests on the seats that were never ordered, and I need some armrests. So I called Kenworth and found out the PACCAR part numbers. The problem is they are freaking expensive. They're like damn near $400 each. So if I get them, I'll probably just go to get them for the driver's side. Maybe down the line I'll get them for the passenger side. But regardless of the fact that I need them because my arms really are getting tired, again, that is not a even remotely priority. That's just something way down the line if and when I get everything else situated with the other truck and with paying this thing off. On the upside of it, I still like the look of the T680. I think it's a good looking truck. It's quiet, you know, really quiet. It's very good on fuel, you know, compared to the other trucks. And it's honestly, it's a comfortable truck. It's a really, really comfortable truck. Really, really comfortable to drive. Well, As I was actually pulling here in the yard, I got a call from the shop that's doing the peat, and it looks like I'm gonna need at least a head, cam bearings, two new cams, rollers, and everything else in between. The head's got 3 cracks in it. Maybe over torque, I don't know. It's got a cam bearing that's just spinning freely. I don't know how well you could see from the camera, but that part right there is the bearing, and it's not supposed to be protruding out like that, and it's not supposed to be spinning either. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that much damage, to be honest with you. If that's happening there, I could only imagine what's going on up underneath it. Pay a lot of money for something and you don't mean shit. Anyway, I don't mean to be a David Downer, guys, but just because I just took the news and I'll just end the video at that. Last thing you guys want to see is me huffing and puffing and bitching and moaning. Anyway, it is what it is. It'll have to be addressed. But anyway, I do want to thank you guys for all your support, and especially the last couple of videos where I've had the troubles. The words of encouragement, it does mean a lot to me. Any of you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Help somebody out. It's not like I'm going to have great content anytime soon, but I'll do my best. And obviously I'll keep you guys informed with what's going on. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your support. I really, really do appreciate it, and thank you for your kind words. And we'll see you guys on the next one.